So Tiffany and Alex, what is it that brought you specifically to sort of this interest in this level of involvement, this kind of engagement? What is it that really was attractive to you about getting sort of deeply involved in this way?
I would probably say just the level of awareness that I had about the issues and policies and decisions that people are making on my behalf. You know, I see so many different politicians and elected officials always run on the issue of education. Every flyer and mailer and speech they give always mentions education in some way. But there's no check to that. There's no balance in that I'm actually going to school. I'm in the schools every day. I know what's going on. I know what works and what doesn't. And there's no way that I can tell them that this is an issue that's happening. And the best way to do that is to have a vote so that they can actually listen to us and we can make sure that we are holding people accountable.
Like Alex said, the issue of public education is what really drove me to be so extremely part of 16 vote. In our school, we have more funding and more resources than schools east of the river, and that's what really made me sad. We have over 30 AP classes that we can take, but over there's only maybe 10. That issue, among others, like the Southeast voice not being heard, those things really bothered me. And it's not right, because like Alex said, all the politicians talk about education, but the kids in the school aren't. They don't even know who their council members are. They have no idea what's going on in democracy. So that's what really blew me apart of 16 vote.
And then was there a teacher, or were your parents? Who was doing? I mean, you still have to figure it out, what to do. It's like, there are adults who aren't even as involved and as active as you are. What is it and how was it that you actually sort of got into this?
So me and Tiffany both work for a nonprofit called the Young Women's Project, which is a local DC nonprofit that works specifically with young people across the city, especially with high school students. And they train them and educate them and make sure that they're certified by the Department of Health to talk about some really important issues like sexual health, mental health, and just overall what we can do to talk to our peers and make sure that they're living a healthy lifestyle and that they're living the best life that they can. So Vote 16 USA, so the national chapter that I touched on a little bit in my speech, they got in touch with us and they said, hey, we heard that you guys are working on like really important issues. Would you be interested in this issue of lowering the voting age to 16? So me and Tiffany both saw that email and we were like, this seems like a cool idea. And that was probably back in like March or April or so, and then we
and then since then we had our campaign manager Dave. He's not really here right now, but we have Dave, and we also have our other campaign manager named Calvin. Also from Vote 16 USA, we have Brandon, who kind of brought us all together, and he's also the one that got us involved with Vote 16 USA. So.
And then how was it that you even knew about the nonprofit that you're involved with? That sort of was obviously a leadership training program.
Yeah, so they would come to our schools and they would talk to us and they would recruit me. So I probably started when I was a freshman or so, and I'm a junior. So I've been with them for about 2 years now, but they just came to our school. I went over to their table and said hi and filled out an application.
Same thing for you, Tiffany? You were sort of...
No, I had a different experience. Basically, one of my friends that already worked at the Young Women's Project came to me saying, hey Tiffany, this is a great thing. We're learning about sexual health and how to financially plan and things like that. I was like, okay, and we're getting paid. So, so I came.
You're learning. You're
right.
learning. That's
right.
good. Exactly. That's interesting. Well, so interesting. So back to our friends from Alabama. What how do you think? What do you think about what they're doing? Do you have any thoughts about sort of their efforts?
I actually think it's a wonderful idea. The fact that we can get young people into the polls would be amazing, and especially in what we're trying to do as well. Like I said, we're trying to talk to our state legislators, so if we have that leverage of, we're going to vote for you if you actually represent what we want. So I think that's a great idea. I love what you guys are doing with this.
Gabby, do you have any thoughts?
Actually, I think it's really cool what they're doing. We actually really do deserve a voice, because most of the time in Alabama, they make promises that they don't keep. And you can't make those promises and not be held liable. Like he said, they say stuff about education, but they don't know. They don't know what's going on in the schools. So I think it's really cool that we can have a voice and tell them what's going on so they can make it better for us.
So you don't have, do you have, you don't have interactions with have you had interactions with your local politicians? in
No,
your
ma'am,
area?
not as of yet, no.
Right, so they don't come to the school and talk to folks, or?
No, we haven't had anyone come to our school or really talk to us about that, so.
Right. You feel like you'd be heard if you were to have a
Yes,
chance to, if they knew you
for
were
sure.
folks, they'd come
Yeah.
pay more attention, I understand that. Tell me about talking to your parents about what you're doing. Do they, for all of you, sort of, do you have conversations at home? Is your family aware of your involvement? What if you have brothers and sisters who are sort of interested in what you're doing? Well, how's your involvement sort of affected, how has it sort of been a part of your conversations at home?
Well, for my family, I'm a first-generation immigrant, so I have the luck, the blessing of being able to vote once I come that age, and I mean, 16, I'll be able to vote now.
Right.
But yeah, they're proud. They really are. They've always instilled a great pride of being an American and being a U.S. citizen, and they tell me that I should really grasp at every opportunity I have to make my voice heard, because it really is a blessing. So yeah, they're proud.
And you talk to them about what you're doing at school?
Yes.
Right. That's so interesting. Gabby, what about you and your family?
And with my family, my stepdad is really into politics, so I hear a lot about it. And when I tell my mom what's going on with the student voice and what I think should happen, we always have conversations about, because I can't talk to my stepdad about anything. It goes the wrong way. It's the same way with my dad. He takes it completely out of context. So me and my mom, we actually have really intellectual conversations about what could happen. She tells me like things that I didn't know, like, hey, this person's doing this, or hey, you might need to talk to this person. So they're really proud about what I'm doing too.
And had your stepmother, have they sort of encouraged you to be involved, so in a way were you sort of stepping into something which was something that had already been encouraged? How was it that you sort of came to this?
I kind of came to it because I hear so much about politics and stuff, so when I came to student voice, I was kind of like, okay, well, I kind of already have an understanding about this because I hear so much of it, and they really did push me to do it. They're like, yeah, you're getting into politics. There's no way out of this now.
That's wonderful. What about you?
There actually wasn't really any encouragement. It was mostly because I wanted to do it. Like I said, first generation immigrant. So my parents, they're more worried about getting food on the table than really anything political. But like I said, they've always instilled that pride in me, and it was when I heard about the student voice team, I knew immediately that I wanted to be involved, because it really representing my classmates is representing myself, really getting our voices heard, because it isn't just my voice, it is our voice. That's very important to me, I want to really make sure that we're getting represented correctly, and I think I realize that this is the best way right now.
Tiffany, what about your sort of family and what you've sort of in conversations about what you're doing, and sort of were you encouraged, the sorts of things I was just asking your friends here?
I'm also a first-generation immigrant. So my parents, they've been here for maybe 20 to 25 years now, yet they've never, ever voted. And they have the option, they just never have. And it's things like that that told me that I wanted to be involved in politics. As soon as they found out that I was involved with 16 to vote, they were so happy. We've been talking about it for over 4 months now. We talk about it every day when I come home. What I've done, what new I've done, who I've met, and things like that. And a big reason that I wanted to be a part of 16 to vote is because there's a big population of immigrants in DC that voices are not being heard. So I wanted to be the voice for my parents or the voice for my community, things like that. They're really proud of me.
What about you?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of first-generation immigrants on this stage today, so it's pretty exciting. But yeah, so my parents have always been really supportive of kind of anything that I do. But I think they've really been encouraging and just kind of giving me that extra little push. I mean, there's days on the campaign trail we get like a nasty comment on a news article or a nasty tweet at you, like, you know, you're stupid, you don't know what you're doing. And just kind of that extra little push, like, you're doing the right thing, you know, you're in the right place. Like if a video, like if I do like a news interview or something, I'm like, oh my God, why did I say that? Or like, that was not the line that I wanted them to use. Always that kind of like, that was a great line, I loved it, that was so good. So I think my parents have been really supportive, but at the same time, then letting me lead and not, you know, overpowering and like totally being on me. So.
Now let me ask you something in a whole different direction, which is what's been surprising about this experience now that you've been involved, sort of now that you're sort of being political/civic? What is it? So what's surprising? What have you learned that you didn't expect?
Something surprising is that, I mean, I knew that adults wouldn't be completely for this idea, but how some of them have been kind of nasty about it, just a little bit. Some of them have told us we don't have enough skin in the game, and that's a little hurtful. Just because we're trying to lower the voting age doesn't mean we're trying to change the definition of adulting. We're not trying to do that. They asked us if we should go to war, if we should be charged as a 16-year-old now, if we should be able to drink. None of us have advocated for that. So it's been an experience. Those are some surprising things that I hear, but we always have something to say back. Like, we're not trying to change the definition of adulting. We just want to have our voices heard. We're just trying to be a part of our democracy.
I think the most interesting and surprising thing that I've found is the power of having a conversation with somebody. These people are all from Alabama. I've never been to Alabama, let alone like 2-3 hours out of a major city. I took like the metro here today, and like just all like very different lifestyle. But like you guys were touching on, we both have the same issues. We both struggle with equity in education, with mental health, access, and funding in our schools and stuff. So just like when you're on and you're talking with somebody and just having that conversation with them, just how much that can change their mind and make them, you know, kind of, you can be put into their shoes, they can be put into your shoes. And you can really just see and have a conversation with them without getting too nasty.
Yes, please.
My name's Skylar. I'm from Southeast Alabama, and I go to like a little high school. And these guys, you know, they're bigger, but you know, the thing that's shocking to me is we're all having the same problems, like statewide, I thought. And when I got here, I did not think it was going to be a national issue, but that's what people don't realize. Like, this is a national issue, and it needs more attention than what it's getting.
On the subject of what we found surprising on this whole experience is, you know, when I got invited to participate in the student voice team, we started talking about the changes we wanted to make in our school systems and what the problems were that we were facing and how to fix it. And we, you know, established the problems and we were thinking about solutions. And, you know, at first we weren't sure how much change we'd be able to make. And I have been very surprised and very proud of the change that we have been able to make, because at our first meeting when we established our problems, we took it to our principal at our school, and almost 9 or 10 out of 13 problems that we gave him, we got change that we wanted. So we were very surprised that how good it worked out for us, and we were happy that, you know, when you use your voice, you can get change, and don't doubt that.
Do you guys want to add anything? Do you want to add anything about your own experiences, surprises, what you've learned?
I'm really surprised about how much change we've made too. I mean, the thing that's really surprised me about this whole experience is that I didn't really think that, you know, I would really, you know, be able to make a change, but when we started talking, I was like, okay, there's a lot of people that think like me and that we want change, and I was like, okay, well, maybe this is possible. And I'm really trying to advocate for my school advocacy group, because we have SGA, but it's more of a popularity contest. And so I'm really trying to advocate for that so that maybe we can get change through our school first before we start going to local and then state and then national.
Absolutely. Fred, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I guess the most surprising thing for me was really how many students, and this goes for my school, I'm not sure how it is everywhere else, but how silent they feel, you know. Before I even applied to the student voice team, I asked around, I said, what's the biggest issue that you feel needs to be solved? And it was probably like 9 out of 10 students would say that they felt like they weren't heard. They felt like there was a disconnection between them and the teachers and the principals. And if there's a disconnection between our own educators, then there's no communication period between even our legislators. So I was surprised that my generation that's so vocal on social media, that's so vocal everywhere else, felt so silent when it came to their own education.
Others? Does that ring true for folks?
Yes, actually. When we were doing petitions in our school, maybe it was May or right before we got let out in June, I was talking to people, I was telling them, hey, do you want to come sign my petition? And a lot of them, more than I would think so, said no. And I asked them why. They said, because no one's going to do this, because no one's going to listen to you, because this is not important. Are you kidding? Is this a joke? And then that's when I took that into consideration, and I'm just like, wow, so people really don't believe that their voices matter. They really don't think that they can make a change at all.
And then, so has your experience, are you now sort of vocal on this issue? Because you're vocal on your issue, but when you're talking with your friends, are you then sort of making the connection that you can get involved, you can make a difference?
Of course, I tell all my friends, no matter if we go to the same school, no matter if we're in the same organization, Vote 16 is something you should be a part of, even if it's small, even if you're just telling a friend about it, or if you're on a stage like me and Alec, everything counts. Be a part of it as much as you want to be. And also, all we care about is having our voices heard. That's our big thing, having our voices heard about our different issues.
And are you having that experience with so at school, do you see friends of yours, or if anybody else wants to join in on this, are they responding to your involvement and seeing that some things can be changed or that they can have a voice? Do you talk about this with your friends?
Yes, of course. Most students at our school totally agree with the problems that we've been bringing up, and they want to help too. And we are trying to get more students in our school involved in the making change process. And we hope that we can get more and more momentum and bring more change by bringing more students in.
And do you feel you're being encouraged? Are people sort of threatened by the notion, or do you see folks getting a little bit threatened about all this activity on the part of these young people? Or how have you felt welcomed in terms of what you've been doing? Whatever.
Oh, yes. Like I said, when I brought up the petitions, my teachers...
No, so go ahead. No, go ahead. You go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. My teachers were like, this is great. And some of my teachers are actually the ones that told me more issues that I should care about. Like I brought up education. My English teacher was the first one to tell me about education, that we have a board of education in DC that votes on our problems. And he told me about that. He told me if you guys were able to vote, you guys could vote on your curriculum and different things that you have issues with your education system. And I was like, great. And then a lot of my other teachers, there's some that are still kind of skeptical, but a lot of them support us. But in my school, a lot of the teachers support the students. So.
Yeah, all of our teachers at our school definitely support us, and they're all for us making change.
Good. And have you, Fred and Gabby, have you felt supported at school also?
I felt supported at school, but as far as my family goes, I went to go ask for sponsorships to come on the trip, and I went to my uncle who owns a business, and he grilled me on political issues, and then he said, well, I'm sorry if you would have let me know sooner, but I don't really think I would have sponsored you because you don't believe what I believe.
Oh my.
So there was that, and I was like, okay.
Good for you. Except that's right. Agree to disagree. Fred, what about you? You're getting support, you feel?
Yeah, Luckily, I wasn't grilled by my yeah, I honestly, when I talk to my my church and my classmates, my teachers, they all are 100% supportive that I'm trying to really get my voice heard and trying to get my classmates' voices heard. So
Good, good. Now, I want to ask, why don't you ask, do any of you have questions for each other? So since you were saying you've never been to Alabama, you know, so questions among each other. Would anybody like to ask one of your friends up here a question? You guys are usually.
You said something yesterday about your high school being 2A. I wanted to know what type of things you're trying to do to make it, to get more funding for your schools.
So right now we're trying to, well, we've already met with our principal and stuff, but I don't know if y'all know about rural Alabama, but they don't welcome change very often. So it's kind of hard with our superintendent because we just have gotten a new superintendent. So our principal, he's kind of accepting it, but the board and superintendent, they don't want no part in it. So it is very hard. Now, if we went to a bigger school, then it wouldn't be as bad because we can have more student body and more, you know, voices to be heard. But since we are K through 12, our school probably has 800 students in Hall, so it's kind of hard.
And it's hard to understand, like, how momentous this is, our student voice team from Alabama making so much change, because not only are we fighting for, we're fighting for more funding, which would be more of like a state level conflict, but we also are dealing with internal conflicts too. Like Skylar said, our superintendent isn't for a lot of change, so it's very hard to have even the courage to get your voice heard, let alone actually get your voice heard. So I'm very proud of all my counterparts in helping us make change and being here.
Any other questions? Folks, have any questions for the folks from DC?
So,
Go ahead.
My name's Gage Cannell, and I'm from Anniston, Alabama. And one of the few reasons all of you might know Anniston is from the Freedom Riders. And we all know that the bus burned in Anniston before it reached Alabama. And change at my school, I've brought about a lot, and my teacher, Ms. Lambert, who's here as well. It is so easy to change someone's mind if you show them. Saying something is so easy, especially in Alabama, because everyone there has a big mouth. But if you show them, like we're doing with our Key Club, we're going to the monument that we just got as a national park in Anniston, and we're going to become tour guides. We're going to host art contests and photography contests. If you put in action, you will get results, and that is how change comes at our school. But I don't know.
So how about any sort of parting words? Like everybody, what would you like to tell the group here about what you've learned, what you've done, what's possible, what's been hard?
I would just like to say thank you all for letting us come here, and thank you for listening to our message. And hopefully, I hope we showed you that this generation is powerful, and we're ready to make change, and we're ready to make things better for us and for the whole America as a whole. So we're very thankful to be here, and we hope to make lots more change to come.
What about you folks sitting up here in the chairs? Parting words?
I think Chloe summed it up perfectly. I'm just grateful that we're allowed to, as the student voice team, that we're able to take this first step into really making our voices heard. And I just hope that we can all work together as communities, as a state, as a country to come together and really help this future generation, help our generation prosper and make this country not great again, because come on now, it's always been great, but just create hope.
Tiffany, Alex?
Like Chloe said, I want to say thank you for coming out and hearing what we had to say. And like I told you guys, 11,000 people in DC are 16 and 17-year-olds, and they don't have a voice. And imagine that across the U.S., how many 16 and 17-year-olds don't have a voice. So I'm asking you guys to keep updated with Vote 16 USA, and to keep hearing what we're doing, and to stay in touch with our movement, and to be a part of it, if you will. Thank you again.
Alex, did you have anything else you want to add?
Tiffany pretty summed it up pretty well. Basically just when there's nothing in your way, when there's no ceilings, the sky's the limit. We can do anything we put our minds to. If we work hard, have the determination, and have the support, hopefully from all of you guys, we can do everything that we can do.
All right, I think that's a great way to end this. All